Hello there. I'm making this video in response to Nicole Arbour's video called Dear Fat People. Now, I think I've watched the video and I've got to say, as an expert in obesity, she has no compassion for these people and no humanity. And I say that from my own experience, okay? Not my own personal experience, but from the experience of my clients. Let me introduce myself. My name is Bond, Dr. James Bond. I'm a health and fitness expert, and I work with people who want to improve their quality of life, particularly those who want to lose weight. What makes my service different is that I'm the only personal fitness instructor in the north of England who's a qualified medical doctor, and therefore I can take on cases that other fitness instructors cannot or will not dare. Anyway, let's put that aside for a moment. This video called Dear Fat People is controversial, and I'm not surprised she's been sacked from her job because of it. Okay, how do I put this? I want you to consider the plight of these people. This morning, you probably got out of bed. Okay, something you take for granted every day. A lot of these people can't do that. Okay, for them, walking down to the post box at the bottom of the road could kill them. Consider their plight. Imagine you're at an airport and you have two very small carrier bags. Okay, you'll be able to carry them without any problem. But imagine you're at an airport now and you have two 100-kilogram suitcases and there's no trolley and there's no porter to help you. Consider how difficult it would be to go anywhere. You'd stop every few steps to get a rest. That's what these people live with every day of the week. Okay, so it's very, very easy for you to say eat less and exercise more. They can't. Okay, because exercise is very difficult for them. Okay, now let's have a look at this. You might say to them, eat less. Well, I'll tell you here and now, one of the first things I have to do with these people is I don't get them to eat less. Very often, I'll come on to the cause of obesity in a minute. In fact, let me talk about the cause of obesity now. Very often I have people say to me, well, how did they get into such a situation? Well, actually, it can happen very, very easily. Because I'm going to talk to you today about the number one cause of obesity. It is not eating too much. It is not exercising too little. It's poverty. Okay? Obesity is a disease of poverty. You will very rarely find it among the rich, and there are 8 reasons for this. Firstly, food that is high in fat and low in nutritional value is mass-produced and cheap. Food that is low in fat and high in nutritional value is hand-produced and expensive. People on low incomes cannot afford it. Okay, look at the difference between the price of a Big Mac and a salad. You can see the difference. Okay. Thirdly, people who are cash poor tend to be time poor. They don't have time to cook from fresh. A lot of people out there can only afford to have one meal a day. What actually happens if you can only afford to have one meal a day? The body thinks that nutrition is not coming regularly, so it will slow down its metabolism and store everything it can as fat. In exactly the same way, if I reduce your salary by 90%, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to hold on to every single penny. Okay, a lot of people out there who are cash poor and time poor haven't got time to spend half an hour to eat their dinner or their food. So what they wolf down their food really quickly. It takes 20 minutes for the brain to register that you've eaten. If it doesn't register, what they eat some more. And what happens to that's high fat food? With the greatest respect in the world, people who are cash poor and time poor tend to be the least educated. They may not know what's good and what's bad for them. Okay, you'll be amazed at how many people who tell me, oh, I eat really healthy. I just said, well, what's that? And I look at their dinner and it's awful. You'll be amazed at how many people say that to me. In fact, I've had to get rid of some clients who do exactly just that. And the other thing is, a lot of people on low income backgrounds cannot afford expensive gyms and personal trainers. And the 8th reason is that it depends on the quality of education you had when you were a kid. In a lot of inner city schools, they don't teach cookery. Okay, but in the richest in private schools where they've got which are funded by very rich parents, okay, they actually do teach cookery, so they know what's good and what's bad for them. Obesity is not something you will see among the rich, or very rarely. It's a disease of poverty. Okay, In almost every single case of someone who's obese, you will inevitably find some mental health problem, stress, anxiety, depression. You will find a history of domestic abuse or domestic violence or low self-esteem. It's inevitable that you're going to find that, and that also needs to be addressed. Now, in terms of what Nicole says about these people exercising, well, it's not going to happen. Firstly, gyms can be very intimidating for these people. Okay, very intimidating indeed. I actually know a personal trainer who finds the gym quite intimidating going as a member. Okay, but consider this. Firstly, how are they going to get to the gym? If they're heavily overweight, they may not fit in a car. Okay, a lot of gyms do not have sufficient disabled parking. A lot of them have turnstile access. If you're heavily obese, you're not going to be able to get in. Okay, what then happens is, where are these people going to change and protect their dignity? Very difficult to do. What actually happens if that gym is on one or two, got several floors? Okay, they might get stuck in the lift. Okay, it does happen. Guys like the gym floor, women like classes. It's a fitness industry standard. Okay, so what happens? A guy comes in. What happens? He goes on the gym on the cardio equipment. He might be too heavy for it. It can be dangerous. He might. Some people can get stuck in the gym equipment. I actually have known this to happen. Ladies like gym classes. So what's a heavily overweight woman going to do? Stand at the front and be embarrassed, or stand at the back and be miss out? What happens if that gym actually has a swimming pool? Okay, and that person drowns. How are you going to get them out? Most importantly, a gym program for such a person has to be devised by a properly devised instructor, a properly trained instructor like myself. Okay, now of which there are very, very few. When I used to work at one gym, a fitness instructor who had 2 weekends of training devised a program for a heavily overweight person. I was asked to review it. It's a good thing I did. It would have killed him. We would have had a death on our hands. Okay, that's the danger of what happens if these people go to gyms. In terms of eating, this is what happens. Very often they can only afford to have 1 meal a day. So what happens is the body's metabolism slows down and stores everything it can as fat. One of the first things I have to get these people to do is eat the same amount of food, but more slowly and over 5 meals a day, sometimes 7. Because then happens is the body's metabolism thinks, oh, nutrition is coming regularly, no need to store anything as fat. And then I have to slowly bring in changes. I think Nicole's video, I know she was trying to make a point, I think is barbaric and harsh. So what I'd like you to do today is just think for a moment how lucky you are. If you're not obese, think how lucky you are. And the other thing I'd like you to take into consideration is, it is very much in the interests of Western governments for as many people to be obese as possible. And there's a reason for this. We have an aging population, okay? There are more people taking out of the pension pot than putting in. Okay, what it is very much in there. For every stone overweight you are, statistically, you will you will reduce your life expectancy by 3 years. So what they want you to do is basically get all your working life taxes off you, and make sure you don't live to go to retirement age. Okay, it is very, very much in the interest of Western governments for people to be obese, so you die off early. Okay. They won't admit that, but that is the God's honest truth. So what I'd like you to do today is just, if you're not obese, just spare a thought for the plight of these people. And what I'd like you all to do, if you are on social media, take this video and share it to your Facebook or Twitter wall. My name's Bond, James Bond, leaving you shaken but not stirred. Bye bye.